What's up? This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible today and Non-Fungible tomorrow. And during the weekend, I'm not sure if you noticed, I did post a new video about three reasons why you should subscribe to the channel. And hopefully that is a good introduction to let people know about the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe. This is a channel where I provide you daily updates on not only just crypto news, but also on NFTs news as well. So today I want to talk about this week. This week is actually a big week, and to be honest, I do think that will be a volatile week unless we have already seen the volatility. But right now Bitcoin is back at 20,000 ish. So we did experience a huge dump during the weekend. I was looking at it. But why is this week gonna be a very volatile week? Well, there is several consumer data that's coming out in this week. Okay, so we look at this from investing.com. June inflation data will come out this week, with most countries releasing data on Wednesday. So Wednesday will definitely be a very volatile week because it will talk about the inflation data. Okay, so the U.S. Consumer Price Index is expected to show an 8.8% year-over-year increase and a 1.1% month-over-month increase, which will be accelerations from last month's numbers. So basically, inflation is going up and higher, right? So all the costs and stuff like that back in June would go up, and at the same time, French, German, and Spanish CPIs are all expected to stay at or near record levels. So all of these levels are quite high globally. So that would definitely affect how people react, and also it will affect the market, right? At the same time, in the US, there is another report that is going to come up, which I will share more later. But our earnings seasons begin. Basically, the leading banks will talk about the views on the market. They'll start reporting and stuff like that. So that would definitely affect the market as well. And the next report I was talking about was the retail sales. Okay, so US retail sales data come up Friday. Okay, giving investors more hands-on take how consumers respond to current economic cost rates, right? So basically, at the same time, you also have global political unrest and Sri Lanka, and also the war between Russia and Ukraine has no sign of stopping as well. So what does this mean? Okay, so what does US inflation data means, right? So what happened is that if you look at this, this is from Cointelegraph. It's basically about how the 200-week moving average is causing headaches, right? So what happened was that now we're back at 20,000, and that is 200-week moving average, right? If Bitcoin is able to hold these levels, it'll be good. But if it doesn't, it will have a further downwards potential, right? So according to this the central trader, he's saying that if we are able to hold this level, and if momentum is turning up, if stock continue to turn up. So the really important thing that we're all looking at is that the inflation data, because the inflation data to a certain extent affects the stock market, and because right now cryptocurrency is very likely trading with a relation with the stock market. So if the stock market dumps, cryptocurrency is definitely gonna dump, right? So there is positive sentiment, but also negative sentiment at the same time. But at the same time, as well, people are saying that Celsius is actually moving some of the asset, right, to different exchanges. So there's a chance that they're liquidating some of the exchanges, and also that's the reason why they're paying off some of the loans as well on the Aave protocol, right? So at the same time, inflation tip to provide messy weeks. So according to this tweet, themes this week: inflation data consensus is higher than 8.8 YOY, 1.1 month over month. My view comes in even higher, large dip gets bought, right? So if these data is higher than expected, it would definitely cause a dump to the market, right? So lots of earnings are mostly financials this week. European gas prices, right? So what happened is that France prepared for a total cutoff of Russian gas, right? So that will all drive the prices of energy, all drive the prices of inflation up, which is gonna be very bad for the market. And at the same time, the MACD, okay, MACD is now hitting at an all-time high low, right? So basically, people are saying that, oh, there's a chance that we are going to see the lows right now, which at the same time, I could share with you as well. So also, 2 months high for crypto fear and greed index, right? So if you look at the market right now, Asian market was down, because at the same time, China's, manufacturing was to slow down as well. So Europe is down, pre-market is not looking positive. So that's why we're seeing a sea of red for cryptocurrency. So this is a traditional market, right? And also here, slowdown for factories in China, right? As I just said just now, Treasury yield slipped a little bit at early Monday morning as investors start to face some key economic data this week, right? So inflation is expected to stay high in the June consumer price index, which hits on Wednesday, right? On Thursday, there's a producer price index that will give investors another snapshot of inflation in the US. Then on Friday, traders will share the latest University of Michigan consumer sentiment report for this month and June retail sales. So a lot of data has been churned out this week. a lot of these data is definitely going to be digested by investors, funds, and it will absolutely affect the market in general. So this is the data that I think we should be looking at in this month. So moving on to crypto news. So if we look at the crypto news, our global market cap is at 911 billion, which is a 3.13% decrease compared to last day. Bitcoin was at 21,000, now dropped back to 20,000. And also Ethereum is now at 1.1 thousand. Okay, at the same time, all of these stable coins are still trading the top. Basically a lot of stables in the market. I mean, majority of the money is things in stables, right? So we look at this, right? Stables, stable market cap did reduce. Now we're going back up a little bit, right? So yeah, that's it, right? Like basically, if this is down, money is leaving the market. If stables is up, basically people are converting to stables and they're on the sidelines. What I think is that the whole market, a lot of people or maybe some institutions are holding stable on the side, looking to see how these data would be, and if there are dips, they might take advantage on these dips. So this is what I think. So this is also a trading strategy, but not financial advice at all. So look at on-chain data. On-chain data looks neutral for Bitcoin, right? Everything looks neutral, right? But at the same time, there are some metric net unrealized profit and loss is kind of in capitulation mode, right? So phase where people are currently facing unrealized losses. So most people are holding losses right now, but unrealized, right? If they sell, will be realized, right? So that is on-chain data, on-chain data. And then let's look at Ethereum on-chain data. Net flow is not really positive, but in terms of exchanges, it's all right, I would say. For 1 month, we did see this huge removal of Ethereum from the market, but now we're seeing some inflow. So we'll have yet to see how it goes. Let's look at the reserve. Right now, reserve, slowly cooking back up. So there's a chance of, selling as well. So we'll look at the market, sea of red-ish mainly. Some green, but we'll have to see. But I don't think the U.S. market is opening positively, so I don't think it will be a sea of green, but mostly red, unless in the middle of the day in the U.S. it comes back up. Okay, so another news similar to on-chain data, Bitcoin accumulation phase on-chain data indicator suggests, right? So what happened was that this article is saying that there is some on-chain data called plural multiple, right? So right now, Bitcoin, we are reaching certain ranges that indicated the previous bear market bottoms, right? So there is, according to this article, there's a chance that we are at a bear market bottom, okay? But there's one thing I do want to share with you is that on-chain data is definitely important, but these are historical data, right? These are, and then all of this score, your MVRZ score, they are indicating patterns that, we might see the very low of the bear market right now, so we might have a rebound. But I do want to share with you one thing is that these on-chain data are historical data. Back then, when we look at these on-chain data, back then we didn't have a war between Russia and Ukraine. Back then we didn't have Sri Lanka, a country, being bankrupt. Back then we didn't have such high inflation, right? All of these, these lows, especially when some of these are in 2018 or even earlier, right? Some of these aren't related to the global financial market, right? But right now we can see the global financial market is really, people are worried about inflation. You have countries being bankrupt. You have, riots happening in places and stuff like that. So, is it good to trust on-chain data? Well, having data to justify certain type of phenomenon is important, and making informed decisions is important, right? But at the same time, on-chain data might not reflect the same reality that we're living in. Okay, simply put, what if we were to have a World War III? Would on-chain data help? We never had a World War III before, during these on-chain data, right? So this is just a analogy. I'm not saying there must be on World War III, but it's just saying that on-chain data is good for weapons, but we have to also understand and look at these news closely, because on the macro, the world is in a different place right now, okay? Crypto Pluto, yes, thank you for being here. Always thank you for supporting. I was just talking about just some macros and a CPI index that we should keep an eye on. Okay, so moving on, Celsius legal team, they changed the legal team. So basically, before, the legal team was mainly focused on liquidation, like not liquidation, but bankruptcy and stuff like that. But they changed the team, paid off 20 million in Aave debts, right? So there is a chance that they might be able to not go bankrupt, right? And also to serve the customer. But when faith is lost, and also there's a lot of there's lawsuit happening, and there's a lot of uncertainty and a negative sentiment with this right now. So we'll see how they're able to get out of the water, right? So another interesting news, I've been saying that the Polygon, the Matter ecosystem is doing quite well. They also have Crypto Brutal. You also commented about the Reddit avatar, right? Here's another interesting news, right? So Terra blockchain crashed, right? But what happened is that a project formerly running on the fallen Terra blockchain have collaborated to help each other migrate over to the Polygon layer 2 network. So rather than migrating to maybe another chain like Solana, Aave, or other chain, they decide to go to EVM, a layer 2, layer 2 Ethereum chain, but that is EVM compatible, right? So that's Polygon. So what I can say is that, to be honest, what I can see here is that Solana chain, they didn't reach out to Reddit or whatever. They didn't have any exclusive partnership and stuff like that. But Polygon's business development team is actually quite small if we really look at it, right? If you look at what the partnerships that they have done, what the official announcement that they've done, like they even had an official announcement on Instagram about them being, supporting the NFTs on Instagram as well. So I do have to say that Polygon's business development team is very strong, and I'm very, it is quite positive to see this, right? So they are not just a layer 2 or scaling solution, but they are a force to be reckoned with, okay? So moving on to NFT news. So if you look at the NFT news, there is an interesting news, and that is 3 out of the top 4 most profitable NFT trader on Nansen, right, could be potentially owned by the same person entity, according to Nansen Intern, making around 32,000 ETH from Punk's Meebit and Artblock trade. So basically, what happened was that Nansen Intern, which is a influencer that uses Nansen and talk about on-chain data, he or she found out that actually there's a chance, based on the trading history, that the top 3 out of the 4 most profitable NFT trader could be the same person. So it's interesting to see how, to a certain extent, how centralized some things are, right? Just to a certain extent. So next news, Kuman's baby. If you've been looking at my Twitter, I did mint Kuman babies. They are struggling to sell out despite reducing the mint price. So what happened was that they had a mint price of 0.195-ish ETH. But at the same time, they have so collection is around 20,000, and 10,000 would be given away free to the holders. Another 10,000 would be for the public and retail to mint, right? So I decided to mint, and the reason for that is that my ETH isn't going anywhere, right? Like I have some ETH allocated, and I don't see any DGen mint that I could participate. So cool, man, because I come from a television background. I do understand how animations, how television is not that easy to produce, right? I would rather put my faith, so not financial advice, right? I'm only investing what I can afford to lose. I would rather put my faith in someone who is working on an animation series, who is well, probably connected in this space, who is well known for being an animator with millions of followers, right? Rather than a whole new team that nobody knows, that just want to use NFT to build an IP. So that is my take, right, from my experience, but not financial advice. Don't suggest you to mint. I would, if I were you, see how this go, how the team react. It's important to see how a team reacts to a project all the time when I cover a project, right? In the end, it really depends on how the team reacts. I covered a project, which I'm not going to name, but it's related to utility, but it seems that, and they had great potential, but it took them a long time to deliver the project, right? It took them a long time to and also to communicate with the audience, which tanked the whole floor price. So a lot of things when people covered, there's a lot of variables that can change, especially the team, how they respond and so on, that could change it. So Logan Paul is selling his ownership in Pikachu Illustrator card over 5 million. This is actually being sold on a token-backed platform. Okay. Custom Azuki for Jay Chou. So the Azuki team created a custom Azuki for Jay Chou for his latest song. And also some other Bored Ape sales that were kind of positive. So that's it for today's NFT news. Oh, and also Psy, right? If you remember, Cosimo de Medici actually had a grandchildren called Bianca de Medici, right? Bianca was actually Psy, the singer of I Am Titanium, right? So she herself is actually really into the NFT space and has been collecting some NFTs. Her project is coming up called Soul Galaxy, which is actually a NFT you can click and it makes noise, and you can kind of like make a song or something with these NFTs, right? So now there is a selected number of these NFTs are being at an auction on OpenSea. This is on the live page. that is raising fund for LGBT plus youth, right? So this is the collection is also on the front page on OpenSea. So yeah, that's it for the NFT news for today. Thank you for tuning in, Crypto Pluto. I am definitely gonna work on the Decentraland video that I talked about. I will do, yeah, I just need to find time. But thank you all for watching. This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, signing out.